Yeah, hey mate. Let's have a look here. Bonk. It's an interesting chart. This is a major inflection point. See right here, right at this level is a major inflection point. These patterns can sometimes, if they fail here, they can set off a downtrend, right? They can set off major downtrends. You know, maybe targeting the lows down there. But if this support level that it's on can hold, and somehow it starts to break up, price can easily recapture these moving averages, because the white moving average is pointing down here as well, you can see. So any strength at all would break us above all moving averages on the daily chart. That can sometimes be extremely bullish. So we are right here at this inflection point. I'm not saying to buy right now, but when you have a point like this, you need to look for some clues, and a possible clue could be on a new month, right? So we'll look at that. This is not really what you want to see. See this? It's almost like an L-shaped pattern, right? It's a bear flag type pattern, and you can see the down move. This move sidewards, and now we're getting that down move. Okay, so we're in the middle of the down move here. We're halfway down it from the looks of this. So that's telling me to be cautious, right? And the other thing is, this is at a kind of a support. You can see there, it's kind of a support. This is also a bearish engulfing monthly candle, kind of implying, because there's only 1 day left, 1 day and 6 hours left, it's kind of implying that there can be more downside. Okay, so at this point, for me to be buying this, I would want to see probably a bullish monthly a bullish monthly stop hunt candle. You know, meaning that you would want to see, like, if we close somewhere there like that, what you want to see is a failure to the downside. It's not letting me draw it the way I'd like to draw it, but anyway, we'll draw it like that. You know, so you want to see price possibly take out the lows of here and pop up and flip green, and then able to run. That's probably the situation we're in, because this is a pretty bearish candle, and to get a failure and to the downside, then you could get a fast move to the upside. Otherwise, it becomes hard to get the reversal off here. It's not impossible, definitely not impossible. There's also the possibility, you know, sometimes you can come down to there and not take out this low and come down and pop up and flip green. That is still a buy, right? If you get that, that is still a buy, because, you know, even if it done something like that, and then, you know, later got the real reversal, for example, it built out a bit of a base here, and then finally moved to the upside. If I can draw that properly, yeah, something like that. So it is at an important point. I don't like this candle. This candle makes me be cautious, but it makes me, you know, you need to watch the action. You need to see if there's going to be strength here, pop up and flip green. You could buy it when it flips green there, or you could watch and see if we get a bullish monthly stop on there. That would also be a buy, with a tight stop down below, of course. This is leading to the bigger issue, right? This is not what you want to see. This is technically bearish, okay? So it's technically bearish. It is, you see all the wicks on top, number one, and the other one is, we have popped up, took liquidity here above the open, but into this wick here. See this wick? And it took liquidity there, and now dropped and fell below there, and it's dropping down. You know, technically that's a bearish structure on a 3-month chart. It's not what you want to see. It makes it a lot harder for patterns like this to run to the upside, kind of implying, well, if I go back here to this daily, kind of implying that maybe, as the very first thing we talked about, these might suppress the price, and this is going to continue lower, right? That's the vibe I'm getting overall on the larger structures. The larger structures on the higher time frames are not great. Of course, it is at a major inflection point. It is worth watching to see if we can get those reversals, but you know, if the reversal we talked about on the weekly and the monthly, was it? We didn't look at the weekly yet. Here's the weekly. The weekly is a bearish engulfing candle. That is not what you want to see. Okay, it's not a. See, we had one here, a bearish engulfing. The next week we crashed lower again. Okay, so it's not ideal. It's not the be all and end all, but it's not what you want to see. Like we've seen one here, and it mooned to the upside. We failed. So this became very bullish as soon as it took out the highs of here. As soon as it took out the highs of the, because that's a bearish structure, right? So when you take out the highs of a bearish structure, it becomes a failed move, and failed moves can create fast moves in the opposite direction. So, you know, I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to happen next week, but I'm just saying, if somehow we broke above the highs of here, right, early in the week, well, that becomes a potential moon pattern, right? Because it's a failed move. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's, you know, it's not out of the question. There's always a probability that it could happen. I just don't think it's very, very, very likely. Now, we do have 2 days left, so it is important before making those assumptions to see how this closes. For example, somehow if it bounces really hard today and tomorrow, it may look a lot better and easier to make that move. Okay, so at this point, I just think it's going to struggle a little bit. Now, in the near term, there's a slight bullishness to this above here. It's a bearish setup, but there's a bullish stop on there in the short term. So, you know, if you go back down into here, you can see that we've stopped on below. So this is the daily chart. So tomorrow, if you wanted to try and trade this tomorrow to see if there can be some upside, well then a small dip down into this wick here is a buy, right? And look to see, you know, buys down in here tomorrow, somewhere down in here tomorrow on a new day to see, and if you can see any strength down on the in this wick, well then it's a possible trade for a day. And if it holds, well, let's see where it holds, and then we move into a new week, or sorry, move into a new month. But it's always possible to get some upside here in setups like that. As we talked about, there is support, as you can see in here and in here, and well, it filled this wick here as well. But you know, every time frame we look at is overall given these bearish signs, right? So there's another one. Do we look at the 2 week yet? I'm not sure if we looked at the 2 week yet, but again, it's that L-shaped pattern, the sort of here. I think we, you know, it's a bearish engulfing there as well. Now the weekly is also a bearish engulfing. Let's just look at that. Yeah, the 9 week also took liquidity above and now failing. It's just not ideal overall. It doesn't mean that you know, the 6 month has also done that. The 6 month has also taken liquidity here and dropped and flip red. It's not ideal. And the yearly had a bearish stop hunt here, right? So that's not ideal either. There's 9 days left in this 2 week candle, as you can see here. This is unlikely to flip green. It is unlikely, but not impossible. And the thing is, we are having that slight bullish stop hunt, right? So that is the what's the word I'm looking for? Well, that's the last stand. If it drops below this green line again, it's going to drop harder and it's going to continue to the downside. But if this can hold somehow, there's a chance we could get a bounce off that level. And that's why I mentioned, you know, to watch the new daily candle in here for a possible buy to see if this can actually bounce.